Hey everyone, and welcome back to Nighttime Mics. I'm Sarah, and as always, I'm sitting here with my good friend Mike. We've both got our massive mugs of coffee, and honestly, I think I need mine today. How's it going, Mike?
Hey, Sarah. I'm doing great, though I'm definitely on my second cup of coffee already. There's something about the rainy weather today that just makes me want to curl up with a book rather than look at spreadsheets. But you know how it is, the office calls. Even if the office is just a desk in my living room some days.
I totally get that. Actually, that's a perfect segue into what we wanted to talk about today. We're diving into the world of office rules. And I don't just mean the boring stuff written in the employee handbook that nobody actually reads. I'm talking about the real rules, the ones you learn by making mistakes or watching someone else get a weird look from the boss.
Oh man, those are the most important ones. It's like a secret language you have to learn. I remember my first week at my current job. I thought I was being so efficient by skipping the small talk in the morning and just heading straight to my desk. After 3 days, a coworker pulled me aside and said, "Mike, people think you're upset because you don't say hi to the team when you walk in." I had no idea.
No way. That's so interesting because in some offices, people prefer to be left alone until they've had their coffee. But I guess where you work, that morning greeting is a must-do rule. It's funny how being polite can have different rules depending on the building you're in. It really varies from culture to culture, doesn't it?
It really does. I had to quickly figure out how to balance being friendly with actually getting work done. I didn't want to spend 40 minutes talking about the weekend, but I also didn't want to be the office ghost. Have you ever had a moment where you realized you were breaking a rule you didn't even know existed?
Oh, definitely. At my last job, I brought in a small desk plant, a little cactus. I thought it made my space look cozy and green. The next day, I found a sticky note on it saying, "No personal items larger than 5 inches allowed on desks." I was so confused. It turns out they had a very strict minimalist policy to keep the office looking professional. I felt like I was in a museum, not a workplace.
That sounds a bit extreme. I can't imagine not having a few personal things on my desk. I have a picture of my dog, a weird stress ball shaped like a potato, and about 50 colorful pens. If they told me to clear my desk, I think I'd lose my mind. I need that organized chaos to be creative, you know?
I'm with you on that. I think the desk decoration rule is one of those things that really shows the culture of a company. If the desks are all empty and identical, it usually feels a bit cold. But if you see photos and toys and plants, it feels like a community. Speaking of desks, has your office ever tried that hot desking thing? You know, where you don't have an assigned seat?
Don't even get me started on hot desking, Sarah. My company tried it for a month, and it was a total disaster. People were arriving at 7 a.m. just to claim the desks near the windows. It was like a race every morning. If you arrived at 9:05 a.m., you were stuck sitting in the darkest corner of the room, right next to the noisy air conditioner.
Oh, I know, right? It's like the towel on the sunbed at a hotel, but for work. It sounds so stressful. Did you ever end up stuck in a bad spot that ruined your day?
Every single day. I'm a bit of a late riser, so I'd get there at 8:45 a.m. and the only spots left were right next to the printer. I spent the whole month listening to the printer go whir clunk every 2 minutes. I finally had to bring up the issue with my manager. I told him, "Look, I can't focus if I'm surrounded by paper jams and loud noises."
Paper jams, the classic office enemy. It's funny how the physical environment creates these unwritten rules, like don't take the desk near the boss or don't sit next to the person who talks on the phone all day. Did they eventually give up on the hot desking idea?
Thankfully, yes. They realized productivity was dropping because everyone was spending the first 20 minutes of the day setting up their equipment and complaining about their seats. Now we're back to assigned desks, and I have never been happier to see my potato stress ball in the same spot every morning. It's the little things that matter, right?
It really is. But even with assigned desks, there's the issue of personal space. Like, is it okay to just walk up to someone's desk and start talking? I have one coworker who just stands behind me and waits for me to notice him. It's so creepy. I'll be typing away and suddenly I feel a presence. I turn around and he's just there.
No way. That would drive me crazy. I think the rule should be if someone is wearing headphones, you send them an instant message first. You don't just hover behind them. Hovering is definitely against the unwritten rules of office etiquette. I mean, come on, give a guy some warning.
I know, right? I call them the hoverers. I've actually started wearing noise-canceling headphones even when I'm not listening to music, just to discourage people from coming over. It's a bit of a trick, but it works. It's my invisible shield. It helps me figure out my tasks without being interrupted every 5 minutes.
That's a pro move, Sarah. I might have to steal that idea. Speaking of shields, let's talk about the kitchen, the place where all rules go to die. We all know this smelly food rule, but what about the unwashed mug situation?
Oh, don't even go there. The sink in our office kitchen is a graveyard for coffee mugs. There's a sign that says, please wash your own dishes, but it's like people become blind at the moment they walk into the kitchen. They just put their dirty spoon in the sink and walk away. Who do they think is going to clean it? The kitchen fairy?
Exactly. I think some people are so used to someone else cleaning up after them at home that they forget they're adults at work. I once saw a bowl of oatmeal sit in 3 days. It became like concrete. You could have used it to build a house. I finally gave in and cleaned it because I couldn't look at it anymore. I just couldn't deal with the smell.
You're a better person than me, Mike. I would have just put a little flag in it and named it Oatmeal Mountain. But seriously, it's about respect. If you use a common space, you should leave it the way you found it. That goes for the fridge, too. Have you ever had your lunch stolen?
Not my whole lunch, but I've had my milk borrowed. I brought in a fresh carton of oat milk for my coffee, and by Tuesday it was empty. Someone had been using it for their cereal every morning. I was so annoyed. I mean, if it has a name on it, don't touch it. That's basic human decency, isn't it?
That's so rude. I think people get a bit brave when they are anonymous in a big office. They think, oh, nobody will notice a little bit of milk missing. But we do notice. I've started putting my milk in a thermos so nobody knows what's inside. It's a bit extreme, but it saves me from running out of milk for my afternoon tea.
That's a life hack right there, the thermos trick. I love it. But let's shift gears a bit. What about the rules for office gossip? That's a huge part of any workplace, whether we like it or not. Do you try to stay away from it, or do you like to know what's going on?
That's a tough one. I think there's a difference between knowing what's going on and spreading rumors. I like to stay informed, like if there are going to be layoffs or if the manager's in a bad mood. But I try not to talk about people's personal lives. It's a slippery slope. Once you start gossiping, people stop trusting you. It can really come back to haunt you.
I totally agree. I've seen gossip ruin teams before. Someone says something small, it gets twisted, and suddenly 2 people aren't speaking to each other. I try to follow the 3-second rule. If I hear something juicy, I wait 3 seconds before saying anything. Usually, in those 3 seconds, I realize it's better to just keep my mouth shut and get back to work.
That's a 3-second rule. I like that. I might need to use that in my personal life, too. But you're right. It's about professionalism. Another thing that's changed a lot is the rule about being on time. In my first job, if you were 2 minutes late for a meeting, it was a huge deal. Now, with everything being on Zoom or Teams, people seem a bit more relaxed. What's it like at your place?
Oh, we are still very strict about time. My boss has this rule. If you're on time, you're late. If you're early, you're on time. It's a bit intense. If a meeting starts at 10 a.m. and you click the link at 10:01, he's already started and you have to do that awkward, sorry I'm late dance in front of everyone. It's so embarrassing.
That sounds stressful. I'm a bit more of a exactly on time person. I don't like sitting there for 5 minutes waiting for the meeting to start, staring at my own face on the screen. It's so awkward. You just end up fixing your hair or checking your teeth while you wait for others to join. Does that happen to you?
All the time. I'll be adjusting my camera angle, trying to make sure the pile of dirty laundry in the background isn't visible. That's a new office rule for the remote age. Always check your background before you join a call. I've seen some things I can never unsee because people were careless with their cameras.
Oh, tell me more. Any horror stories you can share?
Well, one guy, let's call him Dave, thought his camera was off during a very boring presentation about tax regulations. He decided it was the perfect time to start doing some heavy-duty stretching. Suddenly, the whole company sought Dave in a very impressive but very unprofessional downward dog yoga position. The presenter just stopped talking, and there was this long, painful silence.
No way. Dave, that's incredible. Did anyone tell him?
Finally, someone messaged him, and he vanished from the call instantly. He didn't come to the office for 2 days after that. I think he was too embarrassed to face anyone. It's a classic example of why you should always assume the camera is live. Even if the little light is off, don't risk it.
That is a legendary story. I think we've all had those technical glitch moments. But it brings up a good point about the line between home and work. When you're working from home, the rules are so blurry. Like, can I wear my pajama bottoms if I'm wearing a nice shirt on top? Is that allowed in the unwritten rules of 2026?
I think that's the official remote work uniform. As long as you don't have to stand up to get a glass of water, you're safe. But the moment you stand up, the secret is out. I actually know someone who forgot they weren't wearing pants and stood up to close a window during a board meeting. It did not go well. Let's just say he had to give up his privacy for a few minutes.
Oh my gosh, that's my nightmare. I always wear real pants just in case of emergencies. It helps me stay in the work mindset too. If I'm in pajamas, my brain thinks it's Sunday morning and I just want to watch cartoons and eat cereal. I need to feel like a professional to be a professional.
I get that. It's all about figuring out what works for you. Some people need that structure, while others thrive in a more relaxed environment. But even in a relaxed environment, there are rules about digital communication. For example, the reply all button. That is the most dangerous button in the world.
Oh, I hate the reply all chains. Someone sends an email to 200 people saying there are donuts in the break room, and then 50 people reply with thanks or I'm on a diet, and everyone's inbox just explodes. It's so unnecessary. It's like we've forgotten how to use BCC.
It's the worst. I think there should be a rule that you need a special license to use the reply all button. You should have to pass a test first. Is this information relevant to everyone in the company? No? Then don't hit the button. It's pretty simple, but people just don't think. They are just in a hurry to be polite, I guess.
Exactly. It's about being mindful of other people's time. We all have so much to do, and clearing out 30 thank you emails is just a waste of energy. It's those little things that can make an office feel either very efficient or very chaotic. Speaking of emails, what about the after hours rule? Do you reply to emails on the weekend?
I used to, but I've had to cut back on that. I realized that if I reply on a Saturday, people think it's okay to email me on a Saturday. It sets a dangerous precedent. Now I might read them, but I wait until Monday morning to reply. I want to keep my off time for myself. What about you? Are you always connected?
I try to switch off, but it's hard. My phone is always in my hand. But I've started using the scheduled send feature. If I think of something at 9 p.m., I write the email but schedule it for 8:30 a.m. the next day. That way, I don't bother anyone at night, but I also don't forget my idea.
That is a brilliant tip. I'm definitely going to start doing that. It saves you from that, oh no, I forgot to tell them feeling. It's all about managing the expectations of your coworkers. If they expect you to be online 24/7, they will treat you like you are.
So true. We have to train people how to treat us. And that brings up the topic of office birthdays. Does your office do the whole cake and singing thing? Because I find it so awkward. Standing in a circle, singing happy birthday to someone you barely know while holding a paper plate, it's a lot.
Oh, it's the most awkward tradition in history. At my office, we have this weird rule where if it's your birthday, you have to bring in treats for everyone else. Isn't that backwards? I'm the one getting older. I should be receiving the treats. But no, I have to wake up early and go to the bakery.
I've heard of that. It's common in some places. I actually kind of like it because you get to bring what you like. No more dry supermarket cake that nobody wants. You can bring in something actually delicious. But yeah, the singing part, can we just agree to stop doing that? A nice happy birthday Slack message is plenty.
I'm with you. A thumbs up emoji is enough for me. But I guess some people really love the attention. That's the thing about offices. You have so many different personalities squeezed into one building. You have the extroverts who want to party and the introverts who just want to staple things in peace.
Staple things in peace, that sounds like a dream. But seriously, the borrowing rule is a big one for personalities. At my office, there's a guy who always borrows my stapler and never brings it back. I have to go on a search and rescue mission every time I need to staple something. It's like he thinks my desk is a free supply store.
People can be so sneaky with office supplies. It's like a low-level crime wave. I have the same problem with pens. I buy these really nice gel pens that write so smoothly, and within a week, they've all migrated to other people's desks. I've started putting a little piece of tape with my name on them, but people just peel it off.
No way! They peel off the name? That's dedication. I think I just start keeping my pens in a locked drawer. Or better yet, buy the cheapest, most uncomfortable pens you can find and leave those out for people to borrow. They'll bring them back pretty quickly once they realize the ink is dry.
That is a genius idea, Sarah. I'm going to buy the scratchiest pens I can find tomorrow. But it's funny, isn't it? These small frustrations are what we spend half our time talking about. it's not the big projects or the company strategy. It's the pens and the staplers and the coffee.
Well, those are the things that affect our daily happiness. If you can't find a pen and your desk is cold and someone just stole your yogurt, it's hard to be excited about a strategic vision. We're human beings, not robots. We need our comforts to get through the day.
I couldn't agree more. And I think that's why these unwritten rules are so important. They are the way we show each other that we care about our shared environment. When you wash your mug or you're quiet while someone is on a call, you're saying, I respect you and your work.
That's a really nice way to put it, Mike. It's about building a culture of respect. Whether it's a tiny startup or a huge corporation, the rules are really just about how we get along with each other. And honestly, I think we're getting better at it. People are more aware of things like work-life balance and mental health now than they were 10 years ago.
Definitely. I think the old rules of staying at your desk until 8 p.m. just to look busy are finally starting to die out. Now it's more about, did you get your work done? And are you a good person to work with? Which is how it should be. It's about quality, not just quantity of hours.
Amen to that. I'd much rather work with someone who is a bit casual but very reliable than someone who follows every rule but is impossible to talk to. It's all about finding that balance. You have to come up with a style that works for you and your team.
It really is. Well, Sarah, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, from the donut sensor to oatmeal concrete and the downward dog incident. I feel like I have a much better understanding of the office ecosystem now. I hope our listeners do too.
Me too. It's been great to vent a little bit about the kitchen and the pens. I feel lighter already. It's like a weight has been lifted off my shoulders. It's always good to talk these things through with a friend.
Exactly. And to everyone listening at home, or maybe you're listening at your desk right now, we hope this gave you a few laughs and maybe some useful phrases for your own workplace. Just remember, stay away from the reply all button, wash your mugs, and always check your camera before you start your yoga routine.
Great advice, Mike. That's probably the most important rule of the modern age. Well, that's all for today's episode of Nighttime Mics. It was a pleasure chatting with you, Mike, and a huge thank you to everyone for tuning in. We love hearing your stories, so if you have a crazy office rule story, make sure to share it with us.
Yeah, keep them coming. We'll be back next week with another topic and more natural English for you to dive into. Until then, have a great, productive, and smell-free week at the office.
Take care, everyone. Bye. See ya.